Good morning, children.
Good morning. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, children. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. We stopped here in the last class and asked you to find the answers to these statements. Okay, let's see the first one. The diagonals are, so the heading is name each of the following parallelograms. Name each of the following parallelograms. So the answer can be a parallelogram, a rhombus, square, or rectangle. Name each of the following parallelograms. The answer can be a parallelogram, rhombus, square, or rectangle. It cannot be a trapezium or a kite because a trapezium is not a parallelogram. A kite is not a parallelogram. All right. Let me explain. You just check if you have the same answer with you. I will not be asking you for the answers. The diagonals are equal. So now we have four parallelograms in our mind. Parallelogram itself, rhombus, rectangle, and square. Now tell me in which of these are the diagonals equal?
Ma'am, in
The
rectangle and square.
Yeah, rectangle and square. See, the diagonals are equal. Diagonals are equal only in a rectangle and square. Now, between the rectangle and square, which is the answer? Look at the next clue. And the adjacent sides are equal. Adjacent sides are equal. Adjacent sides are equal.
It's given as adjacent sides are unequal.
Oh, adjacent sides are unequal. Sorry. Adjacent sides are unequal. That means only the adjacent sides are unequal, meaning only opposite sides are equal. Adjacent sides are... It's a rectangle. Adjacent sides are unequal. That means it's a rectangle. It's a rectangle.
I was having the same answer.
Very good. Very good. So diagonals are equal. So it can be a square or a rectangle. And the further clue is that the adjacent sides are unequal. Adjacent sides are the... See, now when we take up A, B, C, D, AB and BC are the adjacent sides. BC and CD are the adjacent sides. See, we have two things, opposite sides, adjacent sides. Opposite we understand. Let's take a figure. Okay, so when you look at this, name the adjacent sides. Name the adjacent sides. Let me give you one. AB and AD are adjacent sides. AB and AD are adjacent sides. That means
Ma'am, AB, BC, ma'am. And
AB
BC, BC, ma'am.
Yeah. Then
CD, CA, ma'am.
Yeah, correct. AB and BC are adjacent sides. See it? AB and BC are adjacent sides. BC and CD are adjacent sides. CD and DA are adjacent sides. DA and AB are adjacent sides. Adjacent sides will have a common vertex. Adjacent sides will have a common vertex. Now, when you say AB and BC, B is the common vertex. Opposite sides will not have a common vertex. Opposite sides. See here, AB and CD. The vertices are A, B, C, and D. The four vertices are A, B, C, and D. These are the four vertices, A, B, C, and D. Opposite sides will not have a common vertex. Adjacent sides will have a common vertex. So when you take up the adjacent sides AB and AD, they have a common point A, AB, AD. That letter A is common. That's a common vertex. AB, AD. A is the common vertex. Now when you take up AD and CD, AD and CD are adjacent sides because they have a common vertex D. AD, CD or DC. They have a common vertex D. Opposite sides will not have a common vertex. AB, CD, BC and AD. They don't have a common vertex. So adjacent sides are unequal. Adjacent sides unequal meaning AB and BC. AB, like the length and breadth are not equal. Adjacent sides are not equal. That means it's a rectangle. The diagonals are equal. Diagonals are equal. And adjacent sides are also equal.
Ma'am,
What is it?
Square, ma'am.
It's a square. The next one. The diagonals are unequal. So when the diagonals are unequal, it has to be a rhombus or a parallelogram. When the diagonals are unequal, it has to be a rhombus or a parallelogram. Diagonals are unequal and the adjacent sides are equal. So what is it?
Ma'am, rhombus.
Rhombus, because adjacent sides are equal. That is like AB is equal to BC. When adjacent sides are equal, it means all the sides are equal. When adjacent sides are equal, it means all sides are equal. Let's see why. When adjacent sides are equal, it means all the sides are equal. See, now in a rectangle, adjacent sides are equal means, see, oh no, not in a rectangle, I'm sorry. This is square. Now, in a square, when we say the adjacent sides are equal, we don't say like all sides are equal. You know, you say adjacent sides are equal. So AB is equal to BC. When I say AB is equal to BC, all right, I say AB is equal to BC. But you know, because a square is a parallelogram, opposite sides are equal. Let's give some numbers, okay? Let's give some numbers. Let's say AB is 10 centimeters and BC is also 10 centimeters. Let us just say that AB is 10 centimeters and BC is also 10 centimeters. Because the fact is given that adjacent sides are equal. Adjacent sides are equal. That is AB is 10 centimeters, BC is 10 centimeters. Now let's see that when adjacent sides are equal, it means all the sides are equal. Because a square is a parallelogram. A square is a parallelogram. So opposite sides will be equal. So if AB is 10, DC is also 10. And when BC is 10, AD is also 10 because opposite sides are equal. That means all the sides are 10 now. Let's do it again. When we say adjacent sides are equal, it means all the sides are equal. Adjacent sides are equal means all sides are equal. Adjacent sides equal means all sides are equal. Why? Because let's take an example. Supposing AB is say 10 centimeters or 8 centimeters. Adjacent sides are equal. So BC is also 8 centimeters. So AB is 8, BC is 8. Now let's see what happens. Now a square is a parallelogram. A square is a parallelogram. So opposite sides are equal. So AB is equal to CD. So if this is 8, this is also 8. And also BC is equal to AD. That means if BC is 8, AD is also 8. Now what do you see? It's 8 everywhere. So when adjacent sides are equal, it means all the sides are equal. Everywhere it's 8 now. But when they say adjacent sides are unequal, so when adjacent sides are equal, that means all the sides are equal. But when adjacent sides are not equal, supposing AB is 10 and BC is 8, supposing, okay, AB is 10 and BC is 8. If AB is 10, CD is 10. Because see, we are dealing with parallelograms, opposite sides are equal. So AB is 10, CD is also 10. Then when BC is 8, AD is 8. Opposite sides will be equal. So when adjacent sides are unequal, that means only opposite sides are equal. When adjacent sides are unequal, that means only opposite sides are equal. When they say adjacent sides are equal, that means all the sides are equal. You can say two things: adjacent sides unequal, adjacent sides equal. When adjacent sides are unequal, that means that's the same as saying opposite sides are equal. When they say adjacent sides are equal, It's the same as saying all the sides are equal. So here we have diagonals unequal and adjacent sides equal. Adjacent sides equal means all the sides are equal, but the diagonals are not equal. That means it is a name the parallelogram for the third one.
Rhombus, ma'am.
Rhombus, because diagonals are unequal. That means it cannot be a square or a rectangle because there the diagonals are equal. It cannot be a square or rectangle. Diagonals are unequal. So it can be a parallelogram or a rhombus. And adjacent sides equal. That means all the sides are equal. So it's a rhombus. Fourth one, children, all the sides are equal and one angle is 60 degrees. Now 1 minute, tell me, in a rectangle and in a square, what are the measures of all the angles? In a rectangle and square?
90 degree, ma'am.
Yeah, every angle in a rectangle and a square measure 90 degrees. So this is 60 degrees. That means it cannot be a rectangle or a square. It cannot, the answer is not a rectangle or a square because it's given one angle is 60 degrees. So from there itself, you can make out it cannot be a rectangle or a square. Now all the sides are equal. All sides, now you have only two answers, parallelogram or rhombus. All the sides are equal. So what is it?
Rhombus, ma'am.
It should be a rhombus because see, it cannot be a square, it cannot be a rectangle. It cannot be a square or it cannot be a rectangle because it's given one angle is 60 degrees. While in a rectangle or in a square, each angle measures 90 degrees. So it cannot be a rectangle or a square. Now here all the sides are equal. All sides are equal only in a square and rhombus. All sides are equal only in a square and rhombus. It's not a square, then it has to be a rhombus. The next one, all sides equal and one angle is 90 degrees. Then what is this?
Square, ma'am.
Square. It's a square. All the sides are equal. All the sides are equal and angle is 90 degrees. All sides equal can be rhombus or square. Can be a rhombus or a square. But it's given one angle is 90. That means it is a square. The last one, all the angles are equal and adjacent sides are unequal. All angles are equal. In which figures all angles are equal?
Rectangle, ma'am.
Rectangle and
Square, ma'am.
Square, ma'am.
yeah, in both a rectangle and square, all the angles are equal because the angles are equal to 90 degrees. In a rectangle and a square, in a rectangle and in a square, all the angles are equal because each angle is equal to 90 degrees. Okay, the first clue is all the angles are equal. Okay, so you have two things in your mind. It can be a rectangle or it can be a square. And the adjacent sides are unequal. That means only opposite sides are equal. Adjacent sides are not equal. That rectangle. Only opposite sides are equal. So the two clues we have are all angles are equal. So now we have two things in our mind, rectangle, square. Now it should be one of these two. Adjacent sides unequal. That means only opposite sides are equal. So it is a rectangle. All right. If you want, you can take a screenshot. You can see the answers here. Take a picture of this. You can try this for yourself. We'll see this. We'll discuss this in the next class. First, you read, understand so that you can even get your doubts clarified. take a picture of this one. You need to identify if the statements are true or false. Go through them. We'll see them in the next class. Take a picture of this. Yeah. The two diagonals are not necessarily equal in a. Which is the answer? In a rectangle, are the diagonals equal?
No, ma'am.
In a rectangle,
Diagonals are equal, ma'am.
diagonals are equal. Diagonals are equal in a rectangle. In a square,
Equal.
It is equal, ma'am.
diagonals are equal. Isosceles trapezium,
No, ma'am.
diagonals are equal. No, no, no. Okay, we have not seen the properties in detail. Now you, yeah, I'll tell you now. So in an isosceles trapezium, diagonals are equal. In an isosceles trapezium, diagonals are equal. You can make a note of that. In an isosceles trapezium, diagonals are equal. So the answer is rhombus. The two diagonals are not necessarily equal in a rhombus because in a rectangle they're always equal. Square they're always equal. Isosceles trapezium they're always equal. In a rhombus it need not be equal. If it is equal in a rhombus, it's called a square. If in a rhombus the diagonals are equal, it's called a square. It's a rhombus also. Every square is a rhombus. See the second one. The lengths of the diagonals of a rhombus. I'll allow you to take a picture later so that you can complete it in your classwork. For now, we'll just discuss the answers. The lengths of the diagonals of a rhombus are 16 centimeters and 12 centimeters. The length of each side of the rhombus is. We have 4 options. So see here, we are given the lengths of the diagonals. So we'll represent the information in a figure. The diagonals are of length 16 and 12 centimeters. We'll represent the information in the figure. So see here, I've taken up a rhombus ABCD. ABCD is a rhombus. Diagonals AC and BD. We know that the diagonals of a rhombus are perpendicular to each other. AC and BD are perpendicular to each other. They bisect each other and they are perpendicular to each other in a rhombus. In a rhombus, diagonals are perpendicular to each other. So 90 degrees, I've marked 90 degrees here. ABCD is a rhombus. AC is a diagonal, BD is a diagonal. In a rhombus, they meet at right angles, the diagonals. One diagonal is 16 centimeters because they bisect each other. AO will be 8, OC will be 8 because they bisect each other. They cut each other into 2 equal halves. And the other diagonal BD is 12 centimeters. So it will be 6, 6. BO 6 centimeters, OD 6 centimeters. AC, one diagonal, AC 16. You can take a BD also as 16. See, it's not given that AC is 16. You can take a BD as 16 and you can mark 8, 8 here and 6 and 6 here. That's fine. Instead of 6, where I've marked 6, you can take 8. Where I've marked 8, you can take 6. Because it is not given that AC is 16 and BD is 12. So diagonals are 16 and 12. So you can take them anywhere. One is 16, the other is 12. But since they bisect each other, 8, 8, 6, 6. Is this much understood, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now we need to find the length of the side of the rhombus. What is the length of the side of the rhombus? What's the length of the side of the rhombus? So for that we use Pythagoras theorem. So you can see in fact these four are right triangles. AOD is a right triangle because it's a right angle here. AOB is also a right triangle. All these four triangles are right triangles. In a rhombus, all the four triangles are right triangles. In a rhombus, all the four triangles, 1, 2, name the four triangles in the rhombus.
Ma'am, AOD, DOC, BOC, ABOA.
No, towards the end there was some confusion. Repeat. Triangle.
Triangle AOD, ma'am.
Okay.
And triangle DOC and
DOC.
triangle
Yeah.
triangle BOC and triangle BOA.
Okay, very good. Very good. So triangle AOD, triangle COD, triangle COB, triangle AOB. 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles. All the four triangles are right triangles. In a rhombus, all the four triangles are right triangles. So you can take up any one right triangle. I have taken up AOD. I have taken up this right triangle AOD. Apply Pythagoras theorem. How will you apply Pythagoras theorem in this triangle? Which is side opposite of the right angle?
AD, ma'am.
AD is the side opposite of the right angle. Square it. What will you get when you square it? AD square. Which are the other two sides of the triangle AOD?
AO and OD, ma'am.
Okay. So now we are looking at the triangle AOD. AOD is a right triangle. AOD is a right triangle. The side opposite to the right angle is AD. What is it called? What is AD called?
Hypotenuse, ma'am.
Hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. The side opposite to the right angle is called hypotenuse. AD is the hypotenuse. The other two sides are called the legs of the right triangle. LEGS. Legs. The other two sides, AO and OD. Of the three sides, one is the hypotenuse. The side opposite to the right angle is a hypotenuse. The remaining two sides are called the legs of the right triangle. So which are the legs of the right triangle?
AO and OD, ma'am.
Do they contain the right angle? AO and OD. Between them, do you see the right angle? AO and OD.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So which is the hypo? So a triangle has three sides. Every triangle has three sides. In a right triangle, which is the hypotenuse? In a right triangle, which side is the hypotenuse?
The longer side, ma'am.
Side which is opposite to the right angle, ma'am.
Yeah, the side which is opposite to the right angle. The side which is opposite to the right angle is the hypotenuse. What are the other two sides called?
Legs.
Legs. LEGS. Legs of the right triangle. And do the legs, name the legs here.
AO and DO, ma'am.
AO and DO. Do they contain the right angle? Well, okay, AO and DO, which one is the common vertex for AO and DO?
O, ma'am.
O.
Ma'am.
Is O 90 degrees?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the two sides that contain the right angle. The two sides that contain the right angle are called the legs. So in a right triangle, two sides are called legs. One side is called the hypotenuse. Two sides are called legs, AO and OD. AD is called the hypotenuse. So how do we apply Pythagoras theorem? Like this. Like this. Square AD separately. Square AD separate. You can see all the sides here. You can see AD, AO, and OD. But what you see is you have the legs on one side and the hypotenuse on the other side. AO and OD are the legs. AO and OD are the legs. AD is a hypotenuse. So this is the result by Pythagoras theorem. When you square the hypotenuse, AD square, it will be equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. The square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. That is the result by Pythagoras theorem. So that means square the hypotenuse, AD square, will be equal to the other two sides, AO and OD. Square them and add them, AO square plus OD square. See, you can see the three sides, AD, which is the hypotenuse, these two which are the legs. Should write this separately, AD separately, square it, is equal to, write the remaining two sides, square them and add them. The square on the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides, is a result by Pythagoras theorem. Now substitute the numbers and find the length of AD. When you find AD is nothing but the side of the rhombus. Each side of the rhombus measures 10 centimeters. Just have a look at the answer, children. I'll just come back 1 minute. Do we understand, children?
Yes, ma'am.
So you must, whenever you're dealing with a rhombus, you must first write out this result by Pythagoras theorem. Then substitute. So some of these three line segments, now we have AD, AO, and OD. Two of them will be given to you. You should find the third one. So here AO and OD are given to us. So we substitute the values. And we get AD square is equal to 100. AD will be equal to the square root of 100. which is 10 centimeters. So the length of the side of the rhombus is 10 centimeters. Is it understood, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now tell me, what is the perimeter of the rhombus?
Ma'am, 40, ma'am.
40 centimeters. Because in a rhombus, all the sides are equal. In a rhombus, all sides are equal. How do we find the perimeter? What should you add up?
4 into side, ma'am.
4 into side. 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10. 4 into 10. 40 centimeters. AB plus BC plus CD plus DA. You should add the length of the four sides. The length of the boundary is the perimeter. Or you can use the formula 4 into side, 4 into 10, 40 centimeters, the perimeter. Well, perimeter is not asked. Yeah, see your children. Take a picture. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, children. Okay. Two adjacent angles of a parallelogram. Now, what do we know about adjacent angles of a parallelogram? What do you know about adjacent angles of a parallelogram? They are, in a parallelogram, adjacent angles are
Supplementary, ma'am.
supplementary. In a parallelogram, adjacent angles are supplementary. That means what? If they're supplementary, it means
If we add the two
When we add up, we get 180 degree, ma'am.
yeah, the sum of the two angles is equal to 180 degrees. That's all. That's the property. Should use that property and find the value of x. Two adjacent angles of a parallelogram are 2x plus 25 and 3x minus 5. So given this, the value of x is, you have four options. So how do we work this? You must find the sum of the two angles and equate it to 180. So the sum of the adjacent angles of a parallelogram is equal to 180. So 2x plus 25 plus 3x minus 5 is 180. When you add the two expressions given, they represent the angles. That will be equal to 180. So you can see it. It's just solving a linear equation. See if you understand. Understand, children?
Yes, ma'am.
No. Any issue with solving, please ask me.
I completed it, ma'am.
Oh. Yeah, the diagonals do not necessarily intersect at right angles. In a kite, the diagonals intersect at right angles. In a rhombus, yes, they intersect at right angles.
Rectangle, ma'am. No, not at right angle, ma'am.
Ma'am, parallelogram, ma'am.
Parallelogram and? But here we have two answers.
Rectangle, ma'am.
We have two answers here. In a rectangle also, they don't intersect at right angles. The diagonals do not necessarily intersect at right angles actually in both. It should be, this option should be a square. This one should be a square. Because in a square, they intersect at right angles. In a rhombus, they intersect at right angles. In a kite also, they intersect at right angles. The answer will be a parallelogram. This option should have been a square. Because in a rectangle also, they don't intersect at right angles. Here, in these four options, these two options are right. In a parallelogram, the diagonals do not intersect at right angles. In a rectangle also, the diagonals do not intersect at right angles. This option should have been a square. Square. In a square, the diagonals intersect at right angles. In a rhombus, they intersect at right angles. In a kite, they intersect at right angles. So the parallelogram is the option. You can just, when you write it down, just change this option to a square, children. Make this a square. So the correct answer will be parallelogram. Change this option to square, children. Square, rhombus, kite. The length and breadth of a rectangle are in the ratio 4:3. Now, when the ratio is given, how do you assume the length and breadth? Let the length of the rectangle be?
Yes.
3x, ma'am.
Let the length of the rectangle be what? When the ratio is given, the ratio is 4:3.
4x, 3x, ma'am.
4x and 3x.
4x and 3x. Yes, that's right. So when the ratio between the length and breadth is given, we say let the length of the rectangle be 4x. Because you can see the unit centimeter here, you can use centimeter, 4x centimeter, and let the breadth be 3x centimeter, 3x. Okay. If the diagonal measures 25 centimeters, the diagonal measures 25 centimeters, then the perimeter of the rectangle is. We have four options, so we need to work to understand. So look at the figure here. Look at the figure here. Is it a rectangle? Is the figure a rectangle, children? Is ABCD a rectangle?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see the length and breadth marked 4x and 3x?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the length of the diagonal?
25 meters, ma'am.
Centimeters, 25 centimeters here. Diagonal is 25 centimeters. Now, tell me the triangle which has 3x, 4x and 25.
Triangle ABD.
Triangle ABD. In triangle ABD, see you can mark. I've marked length here. I have by this figure, AB is 4x and AD is 3x. In fact, when AB is 4x, CD is also 4x. And when AD is 3x, BC is also 3x. Let's not mark them everywhere. I've just marked the length here and the breadth here. Now 4x, 3x and 25 are the sides of the triangle ABD. ABD. Where is it right angled?
C, ma'am.
No, in triangle ABD, where is the right angle?
A, ma'am.
So then
ma'am.
which is the hypotenuse? Yeah, in triangle ABD, which is the hypotenuse?
DB, ma'am. DB.
No, only for all of us, tell me the correct answer. I can go ahead. Now, do we understand? I've marked 4x and 3x. BD is 25. So which is the triangle we are taking up?
ABD, ma'am.
ADB. All of you understand that? ADB. In this triangle ADB, which angle is right angled?
A, ma'am.
Okay, then which is the hypotenuse?
DB, ma'am.
Yeah, now apply Pythagoras theorem and tell me the result. In triangle ABD, which is the hypotenuse BD? Which are the legs?
DA and AB, ma'am.
D and AB. The other two sides are the legs. If BD is the hypotenuse, the other two sides, DA and AB, are the legs. You can see DA and AB, they contain the right angle. Now tell me, how will you write the result by Pythagoras theorem?
Ma'am, can I tell?
Yes, tell me.
Yes. BD square equals AD square plus AB square.
Yeah, I want all of you to say that. Very good. Yes, Madhumita, that's right. Yes, somebody else try. Tell me the result by Pythagoras theorem.
DA square plus AB square is equal to DB square, ma'am.
Very good. That's all. We just have to write out the result by Pythagoras theorem, substitute whatever we know, solve and find the value of x. Supposing we get x is 2. What is the length? If we get x as 2, then what is the length of the rectangle? 8. 4 into 2, 8 centimeters. What will be the breadth?
6 centimeter, ma'am.
3 into 6 centimeters. Okay, that's what we are going to do. We are going to, so first what we did, using the ratio, we assumed 4x and 3x. Let the length be 4x, let the breadth be 3x. That's what we did first, using the ratio. Then the diagonal is given 25 centimeters. So we connected BD and BD is 25. Now, since we have a right triangle ABD, we applied Pythagoras theorem. See, you need to construct some equation. Only then you can solve and find something. With the information you have, you need to construct some equation. We are given some information. In the question, you are not asked to use Pythagoras theorem. In the question, there is no clue that you have to use Pythagoras theorem and solve. That will not be given to us. So how do we understand that we have to use Pythagoras theorem? Because the first thing is, from the information, we have to create some equation. Every time to solve, we have to create an equation. And what is that equation? Because we have a right triangle here, we use Pythagoras theorem. So use Pythagoras theorem. Write out the result like this. This is the result by Pythagoras theorem. Then AB is 4x, AB square will be 4x the whole square. AD is 3x, so 3x the whole square, because AD square, 3x square, 3x the whole square is equal to 25 square. So 4 into 4 is 16, x into x is x square, 3 square is 9, or 3 into 3 is 9, x square is equal to 25 into 25 is 625. So when these are like terms, 16x square, 9x square, they are like terms, you can add them. So 16 plus 9 is 25, 25x square. When you're adding, you should write this as it is, x square as it is. Only when you multiply, we multiply x square and x square. While adding, you should add only the numbers. X square as it is equal to 625. So x square is equal to 625 divided by 25, which is 25. So x is equal to square root of 25. X is equal to square root of 25, which is 5. So x is 5. So the length is 20 centimeters, because 4 into 5, 4x, 4 into 5. X is 5. So 4 into 5, 20. 3 into 5, 15. Will be the length and breadth. Will be the length and breadth. Now we have to find what the perimeter. The question is to find the perimeter. Find the perimeter of the rectangle. Now tell me the perimeter of the rectangle. You found the length and breadth. What's the perimeter?
70 centimeter, ma'am.
Perfect. 70 centimeters. 2 into L plus B. Yeah, take a screenshot. Is this understood, children? Any questions here?
No, ma'am.
Okay. If one angle of a parallelogram is 24 less than twice the smallest angle, then the largest angle of the parallelogram is, you have 4 options. Now, children, in a parallelogram, opposite angles are equal, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So how many different angles you will have in a parallelogram? No, like if one angle is 70, the opposite angle is also 70. And the adjacent angle will be 110 degrees. Again, its opposite angle will be 110. So you'll have 4 angles in a parallelogram, but you'll have only 2 different angles. Because if angle A is 70, C will be 70. If B is 110, D is 110. You'll have 4 angles, but you'll have only 2 different angles, 70 and 110. Now, between these 2 angles, one will be small, the other will be big. Now read the question. If one angle of a parallelogram is, so that means they're talking about adjacent angles, children. That's what I'm trying to say. They're talking about adjacent angles. Because if they're talking about opposite angles, they're equal. Only adjacent angles will be different in a parallelogram. Opposite angles will be equal. So if one angle of a parallelogram is 24 less than, so if they're saying one angle of a parallelogram is 24 less, they're not talking about opposite angles. They're talking about adjacent angles. Because opposite angles are equal in a parallelogram. So they're talking about 2 adjacent angles. If one angle of a parallelogram is 24 less than twice the smallest angle, then the largest angle of the parallelogram is. See, first is they're talking about a parallelogram. If they're talking about some angles. If they're talking about opposite angles, they're equal. Why should they say that one is less and one is more? Opposite angles are equal, so they are not talking about opposite angles. They are talking about adjacent angles. Between the adjacent angles, they're calling one as the smallest angle, the other as the largest angle. They're calling one as the smallest angle, the other as the largest angle. So if one angle of a parallelogram is 24 less than twice the smallest angle, then the largest angle of the parallelogram is. Now, how do we assume? I'll just give you a minute time. Just think about it. Let me show you the assumption alone. Let's see if you can explain the assumption to me. Okay, let's go back to the question now. That's what I was telling you, that in a parallelogram, I was telling you, if they're talking about opposite angles, they're equal. So here it's very clear they're talking about adjacent angles. Between the adjacent angles, they're calling one as the smallest angle, the other as the largest angle. So it's given if one angle of a parallelogram. Now you don't know if they're talking about the largest angle or the smallest angle. They're saying one angle of the parallelogram. You don't know. See, children, you can understand the question only if you can understand this clearly. In a parallelogram, opposite angles are equal. So here in this question, they're talking about two angles. And it's very clear that one is small, the other is big. So they're not talking about opposite angles, they're talking about adjacent angles. That's the first thing. And between the adjacent angles, they're calling one as the smallest, the other is the largest angle. Now, if one angle of a parallelogram, so you don't know if it is the smallest or largest. If one angle of a parallelogram is 24 less than twice the smallest angle. So let the smallest angle be x. That means this angle this one is the largest angle. Let the smallest angle be x. Then the largest angle will be, what do you mean by 24 less? Minus 24. Twice the smallest angle, 2x. Let the smallest angle be x. Let the smallest angle be x. Twice the smallest angle is 2x. 24 less means 2x minus 24. So 2x minus 24 is the largest angle. See here, so whatever is in words, you should just convert them to, numbers and symbols. If one angle of a parallelogram, so this is the largest angle, S means equal to, the largest angle is 24 less than twice the smallest angle. The smallest angle is x. Twice the smallest angle is 2x. 24 less, so 2x minus 24. 24 less than, it's not twice the smallest angle. It is 24 less than twice the smallest angle. So twice the smallest angle is 2x. 24 less, so 2x minus 24 is the largest angle. That's what you see here. Let the smallest angle be x. That one angle, no, that's the largest angle. That one angle is 24 less, see, minus 24. Twice the smallest angle. See here, from this you can read what is given. One angle of the one angle is means equal to. One angle is 24 less than minus 24. 24 less than twice the smallest angle. Twice the smallest angle, 2 into x. What was given as a sentence here, we have converted that to an equation. Or I can say an expression. What was given here? Largest angle S means largest angle is equal to 24 less than twice the smallest angle. This is 24 less than twice the smallest angle. It's not twice the smallest angle, it's 24 less than that. So 2x minus 24. But we know that the sum of these two angles is equal to 180. X plus 2x minus 24 we know is 180. On solving this, we find the value of x. On solving this, we find the value of x. X is the smallest angle, but we have to find the largest angle. We have to identify the largest angle. We found x, we solved and we found x. But we have to find the largest angle, which is 2x minus 24. You can substitute in this. You can substitute in this one, or you know they are adjacent angles. So the other one will be 180 minus 68. You can do it like this, or you can substitute in this. 2 into 68 minus 24. You will get the same answer. To find the largest angle, you can substitute the value of x in this expression, 2x minus 24 here. We'll get the same answer. Or when one angle is 68, the other one, because they're supplementary angles, they're adjacent angles, it will be 180 minus 68, which is 112. You can substitute here, children, if you have meaning. If you should understand this. To find the other angle, you can just put the value of x here. You will still get 112. Now it's enough, whatever you've understood. So don't worry. Next class, just remind me, we'll take it up again. Because I'm sure repeating the explanation will not help. Whatever little you understood, just recall that and work it out in your notebook. We'll see it again in the next class. You must remind me, children. Please remind me. Take a picture. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
The diagonals do not necessarily bisect the interior angles at the vertices in a. Okay, so these properties you will be learning in detail next year. For now, you just take the answer. The diagonals do not necessarily bisect the interior angles at the vertices inner. So you must remember that in a parallelogram and rectangle, in a parallelogram and rectangle, you can just write it down. In a parallelogram and in a rectangle, the diagonals do not bisect the interior angles. In a parallelogram and in a rectangle, the diagonals do not bisect the interior angles. Next one, in a rhombus and a square. In a rhombus and a square, the diagonals bisect the interior angles. In a rhombus and a square, the diagonals bisect the interior angles. Okay, so rectangle is the answer. In a rectangle, the diagonals do not bisect the interior angles. I'll just insert some figures and let you know what it means in the next class. I'll just insert some figures with measures of the corner angles. That will help you to understand better. Yeah, see the next one. In a square ABCD, AB and BC given to you, then what's the value of x? We know that in a square, all the sides are equal. We know in a square, AB is equal to BC. AB is equal to BC in a square because all sides are equal. So AB is equal to BC. That means 2x plus 3 is equal to 3x minus 5. In a square, all sides are equal. That means AB is equal to BC. So I told you, in order to find the answer, you should construct some equation. In order to find the answer, you must construct some equation. So here the equation is all sides are equal in a square. So 2x AB is equal to BC. That means 2x plus 3 is equal to 3x minus 5. On solving this, x is 8. So value of x is 8. Take a picture, children. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So here, if an angle of a parallelogram is 2/3 of its adjacent angle, if one angle of a parallelogram is 2/3 of its adjacent angle, then the smallest angle of the parallelogram is. So they're talking about two angles. The adjacent angles they're talking about. So if one angle is x, the other angle is 2/3 of x. See, it's given here. If one angle of a parallelogram is 2/3 of its adjacent angle. So the second angle is 2/3 of the adjacent angle, 2/3 of x. 2/3 meaning 2/3, of meaning into. And one angle we have assumed it to be x. So 2/3x. 2/3 meaning 2/3, of meaning into. See here, 2/3 meaning 2/3, of meaning into, multiplication, adjacent angle x. So if an angle of a parallelogram, if one angle is 2/3 of its adjacent angles, 2/3 into x, 2/3x is the other angle. If you call one angle is x, the other angle is 2/3x. Here, 2/3 of means into, its adjacent angle, 2/3x. And since we are talking about adjacent angles, the equation is their sum will be 180. One angle plus the other angle. The sum is 180. Must take the LCM, solve and find the value of x. And hence find the smallest angle. Children, just a minute. I'll just come back. Just go through the answer. I'm just coming back. All right, children. This is okay? So remind me, we'll take up this question. We'll take up this question and the 10th one again in the next class. Am I audible, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
Yeah, tell me.
ma'am, I have a doubt in the previous question, ma'am.
Previous meaning this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, 2x plus 3 equals to 3x minus 5, ma'am.
Yeah.
If we bring 3x this side, 3x will be minus 3x only, no, ma'am?
No, see here. Okay. Okay, you tell me. You solve it in your way. Yeah, okay. It will be minus 3x, correct?
For me, I got as 2 as the answer, ma'am.
No. If you transpose, you will get 2x minus 3x Shall I say?
Yes, ma'am.
2x minus 3x, correct? Is equal to minus 5 minus 3, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So you will get minus x is equal to minus 8.
Okay, ma'am.
So x is equal to 8.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, welcome. 2x, if you bring this to this side, 2x minus 3x. 2x minus 3x is equal to 2x minus 3x is equal to minus 5 minus 3. So you will get minus x is equal to minus 8. X is equal to 8. All right, children. Okay. So here also in question number 7, you must understand that they're talking about two angles which are adjacent angles. If one angle, if you call one angle as x, the other angle is given 2/3 of its adjacent angle. So 2/3 of means into x. Adjacent angle is x. So 2/3x. Now, how do we know that x plus 2/3x is 180? Because they are adjacent angles, they are supplementary. So you should add the two angles and equate it to 180. Add the two angles equated to 180. And then you should take up the LCM. Take up the LCM and you will get 5/3x is equal to 180. X is equal to 180 into 3/5. 5/3 goes as 3/5 to the other side. So x is 108. If x is 108, the other angle 2/3x. If x is 108, the other angle 2/3x will be 2/3 into 108. So on working that, you will get 72 degrees. So the smallest angle is 72 degrees. Here itself, you should be able to make out that this is the smallest angle. Because it's this full angle, this angle is x, but this one is only 2/3 of x. 2/3 means only 2 out of 3 parts of x. 2/3 of x. So this will be smaller than this one. If I ask you to take half of something, 1/2 of something, 1/2, half of something. So it's a smaller share, half. Half is less than 1. Two-thirds of x will be smaller than x. If you're not sure, you can just find the angles. After finding x, you find the other angle 2/3x. You see that this is the smallest angle, 108, 72. 72 is small. So the smallest angle of the parallelogram is 72. Okay, remind me, we'll take up these two sums again in the next class. Yeah, take a picture of this one, children. Complete this also in your notebook. So next class we shall be working sums from NCERT. from this chapter, Understanding Quadrilaterals from NCERT. All right, children. So that's it for today's session. I think it's time. It must be 7:50 now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, children. All right, children. So that's it for today's session. Thank you so much. You may leave the meeting.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, children. Thank you.